Hi guys, welcome back to Deck Talk. Today we're going to be talking about a beloved favorite, Dark Magician. Whether you're an old duelist or new duelist, I'm pretty sure you have heard or have even played the deck Dark Magician. But honestly, this is going to be a really short episode because the only thing I'm going to talk about is the new support for the Dark Magician, mainly the field spell. Basically, the field spell makes it so you can grab an Eternal Soul from your deck, which honestly, I can't hate on it because it doesn't make Dark Magician overpowered. It doesn't make it very unbalanced. But one thing about Dark Magician that made it, I guess, fun to play was that you were actively searching for Eternal Soul and it wasn't just given to you. And all the different ways you can get a field spell on top of the support you already have to grab an Eternal Soul. I just think it makes it way too easy to grab it. But the new art for the Mage Caribou is honestly adorable. And I wouldn't expect anything less for a Caribou. But honestly, that's all I had to say. So, instead of making this a really short podcast, I decided to talk also about something along the same lines as a spellcaster, but not exactly Dark Magician. And sorry if I'm saying this wrong. Endymions. You know, the immediate duelist rage or the immediate, oh my god, what are you doing? Spellcaster deck. One thing that I can honestly say, as somebody who did play Endymions, the amount of people that will just leave the game just because that's what you're playing is honestly ridiculous. Because I'm not saying I was the best Endymion player around, but even when I had like my boss monster on field, I had a good amount of spell counters, it never was to the point where you couldn't play. Like, yeah, you would have to work for it, but, like, the immediate rage quit, I never really could understand. Though, some of the Endymion cards and Mystical Beast, because Endymons and Mystical Beast basically go hand in hand, cards really makes it so it's hard to really play your deck, but the actual rage quitting just because you see them is honestly stupid, because I know some people who like to use Endymons as draw power, which honestly, more power to them, because that is a very complicated draw power. Honestly, the most big brain I get about draw power is putting a pot of Averance or a pot of... That's the most amount of draw power I really use for my decks. Unless it already comes built in with the archetype. But while I'm fighting for the good stigma of Endymions, let's go to bad stigma. Let's go to the players that make you want to rage quit when you're on their team, on a tag team. Sometimes Endymon players can go a little overboard. Like, they will put up their board, and normally that would be that. And you would think that, right? Well, no. You would have the toxic players, which toxic players are everywhere, and they play on every deck. But it's especially worse, especially with Endymons, because you already have people rage quitting on seeing the deck alone. But just to add to that and be toxic yourself. It doesn't help the archetype at all. So, when you can't get past it, negates like, oh, really? It's really simple. Or like the little comments or the little thanks. Don't get me started when people say thanks. Like, okay, I played into your hand, so what? Or maybe I needed to do that to pop something off and you just made a fool of yourself. But it really doesn't matter. Only thing it's really going to do is cause some turbulence or cause you to switch your plan or switch your combo. But honestly, you accidentally playing into your hand and playing into your opponent's hand, it's not really going to do anything. I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a strategy game. There's twists, there's turns. Sometimes your own partner's working against you in a tag duel. I was hurt. Anyway, some things you just do, some things you just don't. You win, you lose. And the toxic, players of Yu-Gi-Oh! I honestly find it funny. Especially when they lose, because suddenly they're blaming their deck, they're blaming you, they're saying you had some unfair advantage. And it's like, we all start with 5 cards and draw 1. Unless, you're playing a speed duel, you're playing something like this, or you're playing a rush duel, Well, rush you start with 5 cards, I believe. I played 1 rush duel and decided it wasn't for me. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But there's, certain things that go. You have no unfair advantage. Only thing it is, okay, I negated this, you couldn't do anything. Alright, or you negated this and I can't do anything. Only thing that's happening is you're playing the game, which I know some people can cheat in Yu-Gi-Oh! But the virtual Yu-Gi-Oh! And other things like that, when people blame you or blame something else, I find it really funny. And don't get me wrong, I know hacking is a thing and I know some people might, but you normally can tell when they're hacking and not just oh, well, I didn't see you have that card, so you cheated. Well, you can't see the person's hand. And, not they got Slifer, Raw, and Obelisk on turn 1 without drawing anything. And, with the new Ancient God support, maybe. And we'll talk about that another episode. Goodbye. This has been Deck Talk. Thank you for hearing me ramble.